When we started our empathy lab journey at Moorlands, we made some small but quite significant adjustments in how we approached the text that we were studying. For example, one of the early texts that we looked at with an empathy focus was The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. Absolutely fantastic story. We spent a lot more time thinking about the characters, the character of Bod, than we did about the plot. We looked at how he interacted with other characters, we looked at his relationships with other characters, and we looked at how the behaviour of the various characters affected their future choices. Straight away that we could see there was an impact in the children's work, in their writing and in their reading. In their writing, significantly, we noticed that when they were writing their own character descriptions for stories, there was far more detail going in, rather than just a simple description of the character's physical appearance. We found that the children were writing much more about the character's emotions, much more about the character's relationships, much more about the character's motivations, which was really, really quite impressive. And we also looked at how it had an impact on the children's comprehension skills. We found that as we read further into the book, they were able to get much more of an understanding of a character's future behaviour based on what they had done in the past. So their predictions were based much more on actually what they knew about their character. We made a conscious effort to help the children develop their emotional vocabulary. Again, when we were reading The Graveyard Book, at the start of the story, Bod was quite a cautious, anxious character. We then looked at other words that meant similar. We looked at the word circumspect, we looked at the words prudent, we looked at other similar words that had slightly more nuanced meanings, and the children were then able to include those when they were actually doing their own writing. What we found was that, again, it was a great way to develop the children's emotional vocabulary and move on from the words such as happy, sad, angry, which are the ones that they use perhaps far too often. If I was going to offer any tips on how to approach a book with an empathy focus, I think my first one would be to make sure that you know the text really well yourself, make sure that you've read the story, make sure that you know when the discussion opportunities are going to come up, because I think knowing the text is absolutely key. I also found that it was really important to model the thought process quite explicitly when you were talking to the children. For example, if we met a new character in a story and we weren't sure about what they might do, I'd say, oh, well, I wonder if this character's thinking about this, maybe she's going to make this decision. Oh, maybe actually it could be based on what she's actually already experienced in the story or what's happened already. And I think what we found is once we'd done that 2 or 3 times, the children picked it up quite quickly, and we noticed that, again, there was quite a big move towards independence from them in thinking about books with an empathy focus.